Hi guys, I'm Asnith, and today I'm going to be demonstrating another raw food recipe. Okay, so for today's recipe, I'm going to be demonstrating how to make your own chewy raw brownies. All right, this recipe is so easy, you might actually blink and I'll be done. All right, so that might be an exaggeration, but it really is that simple, okay? So for this recipe, you're going to need 2 cups of dates. Also, if you buy the dates with the seeds in them, you just want to make sure all the seeds are removed out of those dates, okay? So again, 2 cups of dates, 2 cups of walnuts, half a cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and some salt. All right, so let's dive right into this recipe. The first thing I do when I'm making it is just dump all the walnuts in. And so for this first part, you kind of want to pulse these walnuts. You don't want to make it to where it's a powder, but you also don't want it where it's just the whole walnuts. So I just usually pulse that part. And you can see that part really goes quite quickly. I also at this time will add the unsweetened cocoa powder in. And so for this recipe, I only want to use a pinch of salt. So I usually literally take a pinch of salt and add it in. Again, just pulse it a little bit. The next thing I do is add the dates. Now this part of the recipe does take a little longer. Only because you want it to where it's like a gummy consistency. And you really want to watch this part. You don't want it too gummy, but you definitely want it to blend in pretty good. So I'll start out just pulsing this. And then I usually will turn it on and let that run for a good, sometimes 2 to 3 minutes. So for you, it's going to depend on the type of food processor you have. So for me, mine to usually get it that gummy is about maybe 2 to 3. And so when it's done, I'm not going to post it for the whole video. I'm not going to try and blend it in, but I want you to see how it will look when it's finished, okay? So when you get done, one thing you're going to find is walnuts is really oily. So you might see it and say, oh my God, it just got so much oil in it. Don't panic. Only thing you're going to do at that time, I usually take some parchment paper. And then I also take a paper towel that I sit on top of the parchment paper. Let me see if I could just move it over to show you. And so I usually will take it and I put it in my hand. And you might have a tray that you can form your brownies perfectly with. I usually just take it in my hand. And as you can see, I just want you to see the oil at the bottom if you can. So I usually take it in my hand and I'll form my brownie out. I just kind of pat it down. I want the walnuts mixed in as much as possible. And I just shape it like a brownie. It's really that simple. So I just kind of want you to look at my hands. Can you see the oil that's coming off of there? That's why I sit it on top of the paper towel. So I will form my brownies and I will let it sit on top of the parchment paper, which has a paper towel on it. And then once I'm done forming it, I will sit it in the fridge to cool. After it has sat in the fridge for a while, this is how you're going to get these brownies. And this is really good, guys. One thing about these brownies with raw food, it can be very filling. I guess when you're baking it with other ingredients, it's as filling, but this is even more filling. You do not need to eat a lot to feel satisfied. I'm not going to bite it on screen because it takes a while to chew it, but you get my gist. So this is definitely a healthier version. Try it yourself. If you have anything that you would add, let me know. If you have anything you would change, let me know. Until next time, have a great taste.